Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So how many of you know the cloud basics? Just want to get a crowd to grab. How many of you know the basic cloud things, right? How cloud works, what are the models, subscription models, basic models, benefits of cloud. This basic screens I'm just going to walk you through. This is what I'm asking you that let me open that. So I'm just asking about these basics. How many of you about these basics? What is cloud computing? How does it work? Advantages, disadvantages. How many of you know about it? I'm just taking you, you're not aware about it. Let me just take some of the basics, then I'll come to that. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. My name is Ritesh. I do have total of 12 years experience in software industry. So I'm going to train this AWS Architect plus Devops. There are two things we have.
Welcome to KDM Music World. Bluetooth device.
So there are two type of courses will be there. One is we are targeting for the AWS Solution Architect. If your career vision is to become a solution architect or the developer, then this is a curriculum that you can get a curriculum from Amit. And second would be training would be on the AWS Solution Architect plus DevOps. First few lines, first few slides will be targeting on the AWS Solution Architect. And then in last, we will start covering about DevOps also. In DevOps, we are going to cover a lot of things like understanding Git, working with Jenkins, how to create pipelines, working with Terraform. Then another examples like Docker deep dive, Kubernetes, and SonarQube and other monitoring tool. Everything in these sessions will be 100% practical. I do not believe in theoretical knowledge. So I'm going to start with very, very basic things today, which we say cloud computing. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is one of the service available on the internet where servers, networks, storage, development tools, and even applications are enabled over the clicks of button. So gone are the days when people used to see that only few services you can see over the internet, over the cloud. Now, almost every service is available over the cloud. Let me try to explain you what I'm trying to say here is, so when you go to cloud, there are multiple cloud vendors available. One is AWS, one is Azure, one is GCP, Google Cloud, right? So multiple cloud vendors are there. So now the question comes is which one you should use. My advice would be go for AWS because it has a great market percentage in the industry. It has more services available with it. So what are the things mainly we are targeting for the cloud? Like I said, what are the main examples? What are the main things? What are the main advantages of the cloud? Like I said, it is cost saving. How you can say it is cost saving? First of all, you need to understand how cloud works. So traditionally, if I'm working, let's suppose I'm working with one of the company and that company name is TCS. Okay. All right. Company name is TCS and I'm working with them. I need one dedicated server. I need one dedicated server. Let's imagine this is my server and I need this server to host my code. That means I'm going to create this server as a web server. So what I will do in that case is, as a TCS employee, I will ask my manager to schedule, or I would say, I will raise a request and they will install a server in their data center. That is a traditional approach. Gone are the days. I'm talking about 15 to 20 years back of time, right? Nowadays, how you work these things, how you work on this scenario is, you have the AWS portal access, right? You have the AWS portal access. You have the GCP access, Google Cloud Platform access. You have the Azure access, right? In any of the portal, you can go and raise a request that I am looking for this capacity of machine. For example, my requirement says I need 16 GB of RAM and I need 48 or 480 GB of hard drive. So what I will do in that case? Should I go to hardware provider now? No, answer would be no. That's the traditional way of doing the things. Now nobody can wait for that, right? You cannot wait for a couple of days to install a server and everything. Now what you are looking for, because everyone is looking for their services very quickly. It's a time we are demanding, right? So in that time, if you're looking for 16 GB of RAM, for 80 GB of hard drive, you can very easily you can achieve this thing very easily in AWS, GCP, or Azure. So I'm just discussing about 3 market vendors. There are 100 plus vendors available in the market, like AWS, GCP, Azure. So for example, go with this thing only. I'm going to ask, I need 116 GB of RAM. What I will do? I'll go to my AWS account and create an instance very easily. They have given a flexibility to you. So what I am going to do in front of you, just to tell you that how I'm teaching is, first thing first, I will tell you how to create EC2 instance using Windows operating system. And then as a second lab, what I will do is I will create EC2 instance, but this time I will be working with Linux as operating system. And in both the use cases, I will host my web app, basic web app. So default web app I'm going to work. Default web app. Here also in Linux, I'm going to work with default web app. So these 2 scenarios I will cover. Once I'm done with this 2 scenario, I will also come to AMI. AMI means Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image. I will be discussing how to create AMI, how to create instance from AMI. So don't worry. Just sit, relax, and enjoy this session. How to create EC2 instance. Now, first question first, what is EC2? What is EC2? I'm going to create a EC2. I'm not sure how many of you knows about it, but what is EC2? When I say EC2, I'm saying Elastic Compute Cloud. And guys, please trust me on this part. This is a fancy term. This is the only fancy term. Actually, it is VM. When I say virtual VM, it's a virtual server. It's a virtual server. Nothing beyond that. It's a virtual server. It's a, you can say, it's not available in the physical manner, but it is a virtual server that I'm going to create in AWS. With few clicks, I will create one server in front of you. But before that, let me try to explain you few things about AWS, which is going to help you to understand about AWS. First thing first, you need to understand here in AWS, we have a concept of region. When I say region, I'm talking about geographical location of AWS locations. For example, AWS says, I'm giving services in India, I'm giving services in US, I'm giving services in Singapore, I'm giving services in Dubai, I'm giving services in another country, right? In that case, what AWS says is, I have a Mumbai region. For example, this is India region. Similar, like AWS says, I have another region, copy this. I have another region which is in US, I'm calling it Northern Virginia region, right? Northern Virginia region. In that case, similar like this, I have another region, AWS says, in Singapore. Now you might be asking, why AWS is creating 3 different regions at different places? Or we have, at least as of now, if you go with the AWS documentation, we have more than 31 regions available. If you go with the AWS documentation, it will show you exact number of AWS infrastructure. So for this, you will need to type AWS global infrastructure. It will start showing you global infrastructure of AWS. It says it has 31 launch regions with multiple availability zone. I'm going to explain you what is availability zone, but in short, it has 99 availability zone and 450 plus point of presence. So let's understand what is region. Region AWS says is, hey, I have a customers in India, I have customers in US, I have customers in Singapore. I cannot create a one data center and serve to all. Right? I cannot create a single data point. So what they are doing is they are creating multiple data centers at different locations. That's what we call it availability zones. Availability zones. People joining from the name Oppo iPhone, please do not join from your real name if you really want to join the session. Otherwise I'll exclude you from the session. So here in Mumbai region, North Virginia region, what they do is they have different availability zones. For example, AWS says in India, we have 3 availability zones. When I say 3 availability zones, I'm talking about AZ1, AZ2, AZ3, three data centers, or you can say availability zone. Availability zone and data center, both are same thing. In layman terms, I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about very fancy terms. This is very data centers, pure data centers. As per the cloud principles, good cloud principle, it says one data center should be 300 miles from another location. For example, I'm saying this is in location 1. Any location it can be. And second location is different. So there would be a difference of 300 miles in every location, every data center. Every data center. Amit, they are not joining with their real name. They are joining with Oppo, iPhone. Okay, so AZ21, AZ23, and let's imagine this is location 3. All right, guys, these 3 data centers. Now the first question comes in our mind when you go for the interview or certifications. Why 3? Why not 4? Why not 2? Why not 5? Why 3? Because every cloud vendor is going for that day. 2 are not sufficient. If you're saying I'm going to create one data center and you are keeping one copy, extra copy of it, that copy can be also hamper, right? So that's the reason they have arrived on a decision as a cloud standards. We should have 3. In the initial days of the cloud, they were having 2 data centers also. In some of the organizations like IBM, Oracle, they still have 2 data centers yet. That is not the against of principles of cloud. That is also fine. But what AWS is targeting for, in every region, if you see the region list, these are the region list basically. If you click on regions and AZ, it will show you all the regions. In regions, for example, in North America, they have 1, 2, 3, 7 regions. These 2 are government regions that you can exclude. But under these regions, you have in US West region, you have availability zone 4. Now the first question comes in mind. I am explaining you here. In Mumbai, there are 3 data centers, but in US West, they have availability zone 4. It might be possible. That is what I am saying. According to their need, they are creating a data centers. In US, there is a huge demand. Plus, they have created a systems in a way so that they can serve the less latency. Right? So they have created multiple data centers, huge demand is there. In US East region, we have 6 availability zone. But if you go with India, in Africa, in Asia Pacific, if you go with India, in India now we have 2 regions. One is in Mumbai, one is in Hyderabad. So we have 2 regions now. So if you go with it, so if we, it will tell you in India, we have Mumbai, right? We have Hyderabad. Hyderabad is recently launched, just 4 to 5 months back. It has 3 availability zones. Similarly, Asia Pacific, Mumbai has 3 availability zones. So if you go with this diagram now, why they are creating a 3 copies is because they want to store your data at a safer place. If one data center is going to impact due to flood, due to earthquake, due to political reason, due to electricity issue, due to any possible issue, in that case, what will happen is they will move your data to location 2, or they create a copies in a way so your data is secure. So data is safe. If entire data center is down, still you have location 2, still you have location 3 with you, right? With this mindset, what they internally doing is, let me just delete this part from now and expand this. Let's imagine this is one data center. I'm just moving this part to here. Let's imagine this is one data center. Now I'm going to start with EC2. What is EC2? Like I have told you, I'm going to create 2 EC2 instances, right? I'm going to create 2 EC2 instances, one using Windows operating system, one using a Linux operating system. So what they do internally is, when I talk about EC2, EC2 is an elastic computing cloud, which is a computer, which is a virtual machine. I'm going to create one virtual machine now in front of you so that you can understand now. So for this, I'm going to log in my AWS account. This is my AWS account. I'll go back to services, and in services, I will look for EC2. The moment you type EC2 in this search bar, it tells you it's a virtual services in the cloud. Click on this EC2. And this is a EC2 dashboard. Click on this instances. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to speak. You can unmute yourself and let me know your questions if you have any questions till now. Arvind, Vivekanand, Deepak, Gaurav, any questions, guys? Manoj, Yashika, Vivek, Sham, Shivam, any questions, guys?
So I have one. I'm still confused between the EC2 or the region you're saying. The region and the data center you are saying. So, so what is the region and the data center? I understand that that's a single point data center. And
Yeah, region is something that you can. Data center is your physical presence,
right.
but region is your logical presence.
Okay.
Under one region, I have 3 data centers.
Okay.
So when you say 3 data centers, these 3 data centers are connected with high fiber lines, very, very powerful lines, where internet connectivity is on boom, you can say. But
so
yes, I know.
Yeah, so the data will be copied on all the these locations, or it will be available on one machine only. I mean, availability zone.
So it depends on which service you are working on. For example, you are going to work with S3 service. So in S3 service, you also got an option to store your data in single DC data center, or you also got an option to store your data on multiple DC data centers. In that case, if you're choosing that option, because I want to store that data on multiple data centers, AWS is going to charge extra money. But if you're saying I want to store my data to one AZ, one availability zone, they are going to give you discounts.
Okay. So in case of any natural disaster, how will they recover a data stored in one availability zone?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. In normal scenarios where you are working with financial critical applications, or your data is required, or data is critical, you cannot go with one region.
Right.
This is not a best practice. In case you are saying I just want to store a couple of data which might need, but in case it is going to delete it, somehow it is going to delete, then I'm fine. Still I have the data at another place.
Yeah.
That only cases you can go with single availability zone. Also, in single availability zone, they create multiple copies of your data in single availability zone. If sometimes what happens is one rack is down, but your data center is up. Your one rack is down. You understand rack, right?
Yeah.
That might be possible.
Okay.
So I have a small doubt on availability zone. Like,
Yeah.
do you mean availability zone in the sense a small part of server in the Mumbai region?
No, it's not small part of it. When you say availability zone, in India, AWS has 3 locations. For example, one is Pune, one is Hyderabad, one is Mumbai, or any other location. It is not small. It is a big data center where AWS is keeping hardware machines physically.
Okay.
But they never disclose exact location to you. For you, it is AZ1, AZ2, AZ3.
Okay. So
Did you
if
get
it
that?
is said Mumbai, so Mumbai internally has 3 locations.
Yes, right.
Okay, they're gonna store. So
Yeah,
can
if
we
you go
customize
with,
like one
if you
availability
go,
zone I need in Mumbai and other in Hyderabad? Can we do that?
yes, I will show you that example also.
Okay.
So you can do that. But some of the applications, for example, I'm working with very critical application where I need a lot of bandwidth, good bandwidth. In that case, you can also have an option that you want to create all your instances in single availability zone. That is also possible. I will show you an working example of it, then you will understand better. So ultimately, any more questions, guys, till now?
So in practical, one zone will be your production and one will be your disaster recovery. That is DR, you can say, right?
You can say like this.
Okay.
But actually, when you do disaster recovery, you handle your things on the region level instead of handle on the availability zones.
Okay.
It depends. If you take example of Aadhaar card application in India, Like in that case, that's handled on the national level. But if you take the example of Facebook or multi-region applications, you have to create multi-region architecture. I hope you are understanding this language, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So here, what I am trying to explain you that AWS, how AWS is internally working. Let's imagine this is your hardware machine. This is your hardware machine, not your AWS hardware machine. AWS is creating machine, and you are coming as a customer. This hardware machine. Multiple hardware machines are available in data centers. You can say I have created 4, but multiple machines are available in thousands. Machines are available. Now you are coming as a user. I'm deleting this one extra region here. I'm deleting it. This is you, right? You are coming to AWS. Hey, AWS, I need 4 GB of machine. What AWS do in that case is they cut out an instance from this hardware. They cut out an instance and give to you. That is what we call it virtual server. Why virtual server? Because the existence of this server is not. Existence of this server is not, right? But it is virtual only. Out of this physical machine, they have cut out one of the machine and give to you using virtualization technology. Using virtualization, for example, I'm saying this is AWS hardware and this has a capacity of 1 TB RAM and 1000 TB hard disk. For example, you can understand this much capacity they have in single computer, and you are asking for 4 GB or 6 GB. With example, I'm just saying you are asking for, I'm looking for 8 GB of instance RAM I'm talking about, and I'm looking for 100 GB of hard disk. 100 GB of hard disk. What you do in that case is you give a command to AWS. What AWS is giving back to your virtual server, right? That virtual server is having 8 GB of capacity and 100 GB hard disk. It is a real-time system for you, but for AWS, it's a virtual server. For you, you can do everything with it. It's just a matter of physical appearance. That's it. Else, everything you can do on this system. This is a virtual server. Let me create one system. Yeah. Cyber, please.
Yeah, is this taking distributed operating system like to divide?
Your voice is very low. Earlier it was good.
Okay. As is AWS hardware gonna use the distributed operating system to divide the memory?
Yeah. I will show you demo of it. Let's go to instances. I will show you what I'm talking about. Go to EC2. Once you go to EC2, click on virtual server in the cloud, click on EC2. Here I'm going to create instance, or you can call it virtual machine, or you can call it instance, virtual machine, or machine. All words are same. This is AWS dashboard. Here it is showing you instance running are 0 as of now. So let's click on it, instance. So moment you click on this, it will start showing you number of instances in your account in Mumbai region. And guys, make sure when you are entering in your account after creating account, I will tell you in next session how to create a free session. Who are going to enroll for this, I will help them to create a AWS account. So once you enter in your AWS account, you will see options here, regions. This is what I'm talking about. So as of now, I'm working with Asia Pacific Mumbai. But in case you are working with Tokyo, in case you want to work with Ireland or other regions, what you have to do, just click on US East or any region, any other region where you want to work with. You will be working with that region now, North Virginia. Now you are working in North Virginia. And one more very, very important thing, the pricing model of AWS got changed when you change your regions. In North Virginia, they have higher prices. In India, they have less prices. It depends on service to service, data centers of data center cost, employees cost, lot of things comes into the picture when they calculate the cost of their services. You just make sure you are choosing the right location or right region before working. In my case, I'm working with Asia Pacific Mumbai. So when I'm going with Asia Pacific Mumbai, I'm going to create one instance of window like I described here. I'm going to create one EC2 instance using Windows operating system. How I'm going to do that? Click on launch instance. The moment you click on launch instance, it will launch a window for you. And on this window, you have to fill a couple of details. For example, I'm saying web server 1. All right. I'm here adding Windows web server. Windows web server. You can add any name here. It's your call. Then it asks you application and OS image. That's what I was telling you. It's an Amazon machine image I'm talking about. Amazon machine image. I'm going to discuss in detail. But here you have two options. You have Amazon machine image, which is created by AWS itself. Here it is showing you all the images, whether it is Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, Sushi, all the Linux distribution flavors are available here. Scroll down. Instance type. Instance, what is instance type? Instance type is like what kind of configuration you are looking for. For instance type, you need to go to this link and start. Let me just write here, instance family, EC2 instance family. When I come to EC2 instance family, you will see AWS is giving lot of variety for you. Lot of variety means general purpose machine, compute optimized, memory optimized, escalated computing. So what does it mean? It means that they have different variety. For example, you are saying, hey AWS, I need 64 GB of RAM. In that case, AWS says you can choose this machine. In case you say, hey AWS, I need memory optimized instance. Memory optimized means I'm going to develop one gaming application. In that case, AWS says go with memory optimized. In memory optimized, you have different flavor. You can say series. This is, you can say, companies. If you take this example with the mobiles, in mobiles we have Samsung, right? In mobiles we have iPhone. In another variety, right? Other companies also. If you say memory optimized, this is another company kind of thing you can say. For example, I'm saying in memory optimized, I have Samsung 100, Samsung 200, Samsung 300. Depends on feature you are going to pay money, right? So if you click on R5A series, in this series, you have this much of capacity, 768 GB RAM, right? If you scroll down, it has maximum 768 GB of RAM. So if you go with high memory, in high memory, it shows you that it has a memory GB of 24,000 as a RAM. That much of capacity it gives to you. But I'm going to create one general purpose instance. And in general purpose also, they have very wide variety available like M6.1, M6 in, M6, M5, T1, T2, T3, lot of options are available. So here I'm going to choose that option. When you go to EC2 instance, here it is asking you option, which one you want to choose. If I click on this scroll, you will see a list like 42 GB, 96 GB, 192 GB, right? So here I'm choosing let's suppose 2 GB. This one I'm going to choose. T2.small, family 2, T2, 2 GB of memory, and key pair. What is key pair? Key pair is a thing that you will need this key pair while retrieving a password. So when you are going to create this instance, or when you are going to launch this server, or when you are going to launch this VM, ultimately you need some kind of password so that you can connect with that machine, right? And to retrieve this password, you need some authentic way that you are the right user. And that is why AWS is giving you option key pair. Using this key pair, what you can do is click on this create new key pair. One file will be downloaded. And once that file will be downloaded, under that file, you will be having private key. And that private key you will give to AWS when you want to retrieve a password. Let me write any name here. For example, I'm giving test file. Test file, create key pair. So this file is downloaded, right? So moment I click on this file, if you want to see what is available in this file is, it will show you that private key is available. This is private key, guys. Private key. I will use this key later moment of time, but at this moment of time, I'm just closing this file. Cool, right? Cool. So far, so good, right? We are on track. Any questions, anything in your mind? Taking as no. Cool. Next section is network setting. Network setting is the backbone of AWS. Network setting is backbone of AWS. This is super important part. VPC, subnetting, internet gateways, NAT gateways, that we will see in another lecture. But at this moment of time, I'm just telling you one thing. I'm going to create this instance in default VPC. Now you might ask me this question, what is default VPC? VPC is a virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud. So when you look for one service, VPC, it shows you isolate cloud resources. By default, when you're going to log in your AWS account, you automatically will see one VPC is created by AWS. One VPC is created by AWS. This VPC I'm talking about. If I click on this VPC, you will see one VPC is available. And if I scroll to the right, you will see a section default VPC, which is yes. This is a default VPC, right? So this is what I'm talking about. This is a default VPC. This is a default VPC. So here I am going to choose my default VPC, but answer to your question, that who asked this question, there was somebody, Siva, right? Who asked this question, can we choose Sai Pavan, right? Sai Pavan, right? Sai Pavan, answer to your question. Once you click on this network setting part, you will get an option here, subnet. Under the subnet, you have three options. In Mumbai, I have three availability zones, right? So here it is giving you three options, AP South 1B, AP South 1C, AP South 1A, but they don't disclose the exact location. But you can choose, I need all the machine in 1B, that you can do.
And you also mentioned like the instances will be stored in 3 availability zones, right? That will cost extra if you want that option. Where is that thing?
No, that option we have to create. We have to, that option I'm talking about, go to EC2, this part, instances. Here you will see an option of placement group. Let me scroll down. You will find the option of placement group. Can
Okay,
you see?
the network security.
Yeah, this one. Placement group. Under the placement group, you have three options. If you're going to create a placement group, it will show you cluster spread partition. That is where you will design your, if you want your system to be in a single rack, that is also possible.
Okay.
It's also possible. Three partitions they give, the three options it will give you. In the coming session, we'll also explore about placement group practically on this.
Okay.
Any more questions here?
The thing, while you create the key value pair, it shows two options, right? One is for ppm and one is for ppk, and it is shown for ppm. It's for only SSH part. So where do we use these SSH?
I will tell you. I will take, because I have taken two examples here. One is for Windows, one is for Linux. For Linux, you use ppk.
Okay.
I will take you on that. I will do a practical on it. As of now, I'm saying subnet I'm choosing here is AP South 1B. Auto assign public IP is enable, and security group. Who don't know about the security group, guys? This is very, very important. Security group. Security group means what traffic is allowed, what traffic is not allowed. It's kind of firewall. That's why AWS says firewall security group. Security group is a set of firewall rules that control the traffic for your instance. Here I'm saying what I'm going to choose here is, because I'm going to work with window here, I'm choosing Windows here. I'm going to change from Linux to Windows, and in Windows, I'm going to take 4 GB of instance, this one. I'm going to take 4 GB of instance, and which key I want to take it. For example, I'm saying here, I want to take it window test key. Create key pair. I'm taking in AP South 1. And here I'm saying, please be focused. Now here I'm saying, I want to create two RDP, two rules. One is says RDP should be allowed. Another security group rule I'm going to add. And here I'm saying HTTP 80, which works on port 80, should be allowed for everywhere. Everywhere means 0.0.0.0/0 means everywhere, whole internet. 0.0.0/0 means whole internet I'm talking about. Scroll down. Configure storage. How much storage you are looking for? I'm giving 30 GB. Cool. All things are good. Number of instances, how much you need? 1. Let me click on launch instance. Let me click on launch instance. So moment you click on launch instance, it will accept your request and start creating machine for you. And when it start creating machine for you, it is going to take 2 or 3 minutes of time internally, because it has to install Windows and everything on that operating system, right? So it will going to take 2 or 3 minutes of time. Till the time, if you click on instances, you will start seeing this option here. This is option, window web server. So if you see now, I can see 3 instances are available. One is Linux Git demo, that I have just given a demo to someone, Linux Git demo. I have installed Git on Linux machine. Then we have Linux VG machine, where I am working with Jenkins, where I'm working with Chef and Ansible on this machine. This is in stopped state and this is terminated. So you can say instance type, instant state can be running, can be stopped, can be terminated. So if you refresh now, now you can see window web server is running, but status check is initializing. Initializing means it is under the progress as of now, not live as of now. It is under the progress. So you have to wait for 1 more minute. But after 1 minute, what you will do is you will retrieve a password. So before retrieving a password, let me click on this row. The moment I click on this row, it will start showing you public IP address of this machine. And here is private IP address. This is public, this is private. Right, guys? So this public IPv4 address denotes you that you can connect with this machine using public IP from anywhere. How can I say that anywhere? That is what I'm going to take you to the security part of it. And once I click on this security part, this is what AWS has automatically created for you and attached to this instance, this security group. If I click on this security group and take you in the separate window, it will show you inbound and outbound rule of that security group. This is what I was talking about, inbound rule and outbound rule. In inbound rule, if I click on edit inbound rule, you will see there are 2 rules as of now. One is RDP rule, which work on port 3389. If you stay focused here, this is what I'm talking about. Port range is 3389. And this is HTTP range, 80. HTTP works on 80 and your RDP works on 3389, right? And both of them allowed with whole internet. Although it's not a good practice to allow from everyone for the whole internet, but in a coming time, we will work on this also. As of now, just for the demos understanding, we are able to see that this we are taking with the help of whole internet, but this is against the security. In a coming time, when we'll come to discussions of securities in AWS, we will understand how to limit this, how to remove this even. We'll see in one of the session, even without adding a RDP, you can take a remote using Bastion client, using system managers. There are tons of way available in AWS. Because this is the first session, we are going with very basic things. But in a coming time, you will see very advanced topics. So let me delete this now and go back to your instance. Let me refresh. If I refresh now, you see 2/2 check passed. Wow, right? It says everything is done. Do not write checkbox to you. Now you have to connect this instance with your with your RDP. What you will do in that case is click on this and retrieve a password. Go to actions, click on security, get Windows password, go to upload private key file, and here I have Windows test key. Open this and click on decrypt password. The moment you click on decrypt password, it will give you password. Copy this password and keep it somewhere. Notepad.
Can you please show this once again? I guess.
Sure. Go to Windows, go to actions, go to security, go to get Windows password. You have to upload same file here, which you have downloaded, right? Because in that file, you have private key. AWS has given a private key at the time of creation of that file. And now you have to give back that file to AWS to retrieve a password. I have that file available, right? I'll click on open and I will click on decrypt password. Got it?
Yes. So why we are using this one?
Which one?
Getting this Windows password again.
No, earlier we have created a file only, which is we never demanded for password earlier. Earlier we have created a file, and now AWS wants authenticity from you, that you are the right user to retrieve a credential, and you have to give your private key to them.
Okay, got it.
Earlier you have just downloaded the file. You're good, or you need more explanation?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Yes, sir. Now I'm going to connect with the server. What you will do, click on this, say connect, click on RDP client, download remote desktop file. You have two options. You can either download this remote option, or you can just go through with the RDP also. I'm going to download this file. It is downloaded, Windows Web Server.rdp. So I will double click on this file. This will open remote desktop connection. It will ask confirmation. I'm saying yes, I want to connect. It will ask you password. Password, I will copy, paste this. I have the password, right? And click on OK. Click on yes. Wow. Your machine is ready. In a few minutes, your machine is ready, right? Now you can work on this machine, whatever you want to do. Yeah, this is my machine. Now on this machine, I want to, like I have stated to you, I'm going to create EC2 instance using operating system, Windows operating system, and I will host default web app. For hosting default web app, what I am going to do is I will be installing IIS, which is an Internet Information Server. Before that, I want to take a pause and take a questions, any kind of questions you have, Arvind, Vivekanand, Samuel, Gaurav, Hari, any kind of question you have, Yashika.
So in
Sure.
general, I'm facing some small issues like while launching this connective instance. So it's showing like virtual machine is unable to connect, and it is popping up. And is that because of security thing?
Yes,
Okay. So the process you did before will help me to overcome that, right?
yes, right.
Okay.
You just need to make sure your instance is having the right security group. If you go to instances, you click on instances, and you will find your security group. Go to security. This is your security group. Go to that security group and check if RDP is allowed or not. These entries. These entries are allowed or not. Check that, please. So here, yeah, Pradeep, any question?
When you say this is available from anywhere in internet, what does that mean?
What does that mean is, if you having a credential, if these credentials, if you're having username and password, you can connect with this instance from anywhere in the world. 0.0.0 means any IP.
So that will be the IP of my RDP, right?
No, that will not be IP of your RDP. What I'm saying is, for example, I'm giving you few details. Let me give you that details. You are just, for example, you are my employee. I want you to connect on that instance. So what I will do in that case is, I will come to this instance. I will come to Windows. I will give you this public IP.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I will give you this public IP. You can copy this public IP, then go to RDP in your machine. And you will enter this IP here, and you will press on connect, right? So once you click on connect, it will ask you credentials. In credentials, you will go to user account and you will type it here, administrator. And if you have the password, you can connect with it.
So by default, the user will be administrator.
By default for Windows, it will be administrator. For Linux, it will be EC2 user.
Okay.
So that means if you come now to the security point, answer to your question, 0.0.0 means you can connect from whole internet. But let's suppose you are going to join one organization and your organization says you can only connect this instance from one IP. What in that case you will do is you will remove this and you will enter only IP, one IP. You will get the option of my IP also. This is my system IP. Only I can connect with this.
Okay.
In case you say only my team can access it, then you can go with custom also. Under the custom, you have multiple varieties available. I will tell you in coming times how to create this all, but you can limit at every level. But this 0.0 means it is open for all, which is against the security. But security is not what I'm trying to deliver you at this moment of time. I'm just trying to give you flavor how to create EC2 instance and connect with it.
Right.
Now you got it, Pradeep?
Yeah, I got it. So STTP is something which is
I will tell you why I'm adding a STTP. That also I will tell you. Don't just give me 2 minutes of time. I'll tell you that also.
okay.
Save rules. Cool. Now let me go to my machine now. And here in this machine, I am going to install IIS. In case you don't know what is IIS, IIS is an Internet Information Web Server provided by Microsoft. Just like Apache, right? We have multiple web servers available. Here I am going to install IIS. So how you will install it? You will write Server Manager. Once you go to Server Manager, you will find an option here, add roles and features. Even though you can download IIS from internet install, that is another way, but using Server Manager, you can also install. So what I'm going to do here is click on add roles and features and click on next. You just have to click next, couple of things you can do next. But here you have to select web server IIS. I want to install this, add features, next, install. So what I am doing here is I'm installing IIS on this machine. IIS on this machine. Once I'm installing IIS, you will understand role of port 80 that you were asking here, right? This is a port 80. Why I'm adding 80 here? Because I want to access my default application on that port. This is what I'm doing. Why I'm doing the installation of IIS. I want to see that application over the net. You can also see that. I will give you IP of that machine. And with that IP, you will be able to see my website, default website. So it will take few seconds of time. Installation is in progress as of now. So done. Now close this instance and come back to your instances. This is your instance, right? Click on this, copy this IP and hit in the separate URL. Wow, you can see this website, right? If I copy this URL and give to you in the chat, you will also be able to see the website. You can try at your end. You will see a similar website page. got it, guys? Now, answer to your question, you were asked one question, why we are adding a port 80? That if I'm going to change here, I'm going to instances, where it is. If I go to instances, this is my instance, right? Go to instances, this is my instance. And here I'm saying go to security, click on security group, click on add inbound rules. Here it is saying port 80, right? If I'm deleting this entry and saving the room, your website will not work. Refresh, it will stop working. Why? Because it works on port 80. It works on port 80. HTTP works on port 80. And you have denied the port at port 80 on that web server, right? So now this website is hanging. It is not working, right, guys? That's the reason. Sai Pavan, or who asked this question? Pradeep, right? So now if I'm going to EC2 again, and I'm adding an inbound rule and saying, which is HTTP allowed for everyone, save rules. Again, your website will start working. Refresh. Did you get that?
Yep.
Cool. Any questions so far?
One small doubt, like why we use this TCP, HTTP, and I mean HTTP is for website things. But where do we use this TCP?
TCP is for RDP. TCP, your RDP works on TCP protocol.
Okay, RDP in the sense, what is that? I don't.
RDP means remote desktop connection. This is when you say remote. In generally we should call it a remote desktop connection, but we call it RDP. This remote desktop connection. Remote desktop connections means you are taking a remote of another system from your system.
Okay.
This is called RDP.
Okay. There are some other types, right? So can you please help us, like why we use those?
Which one? Which one?
If we scroll on this, yeah, SMTP.
Yeah, there are a lot of things comes into the picture. I can take another example. For example, here I'm using RDP, right? In another example, I will use now SSH. SSH is for the Linux operating system. This is not, all things are not for Windows. There are multiple different flavors, right? Now let me do one thing. Let me create one EC2 instance using Linux. I will go to instances. I will click on launch instances. This time I'm going to create Linux web server. So here I'm saying Linux web server. Linux web server. I'm going to choose Windows, Amazon Linux. Instance type is same. I'm going to work with 1 GB memory. Key pair. I want to create this key pair. I think somebody has asked this question, right? Why we have .pem, .pk. Now I'm going to select .ppk file. And here I'm choosing an option for any name you can do. Demo Linux. Create key pair. I have downloaded this file, right? .ppk. Go to networking. You want to change something? No. See, earlier in Windows case, we were getting allow RDP, right? In Linux, we have allow SSH. Allow SSH traffic from anywhere, and HTTP also allowed. Ultimately, this is the layman terms, but internally AWS is creating a security group for you and then adding a inbound rules. Here, I'm giving 8 GB as a storage by default. Number of instances, 1. I want to create this, launch this instance now.
So the
Click on launch.
One question.
Yeah, please.
The number of instances means you can have
You can have 5, 10. If let's suppose your manager says, please create Windows 10 instances. What you will do is write 10 instances here.
that means 10 people can connect that IP, right? At a time.
No. 10 machines will be created.
10 machines will be created and 10 people can be using that.
Yeah. By default, on one machine, 2 people can connect in Windows.
Okay.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, Ibrahim.
Yeah, since we're talking about security group, I joined late, but since we're talking about security group, so what do we mean by stateful and stateless, and when and how do we use it?
Stateful and stateless. So
Yeah.
can you ask your question again?
Yeah, I know I've come across, I've gone to an interview and they asked me the difference between a stateful and a statement, a stateless. And they asked me about what is a security group and what is stateful and stateless. So I don't really understand that part. That's what I'm asking.
No, I think your question is incomplete. According to me, it's incomplete. There's no security group you have to create according to stateful and stateless. That if you are creating a web API or you are creating a WSDL, that accordingly you need to change the ports of that. But security group you are not going to change. Your question seems to be incorrect to me.
But do you understand that term stateful and stateless when you're talking about when we're working on cloud?
I think HTTP is for stateless. I think in the perspective they ask, I think so. The protocol which we use.
Yeah, I think the protocol kind of.
You mean it's a HTTP servers, like when we add the security groups,
Yes.
we're gonna use this
Yes,
inbound.
HTTP means like it is used for we can HTTP here HTTP used for only we can access the VM using HTTP protocol. That's it. Nothing else.
So what was the complete question? Can you share the complete question? What was the scenario?
Let me just do a quick research. I'll ask the question again when I get a proper way of asking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let me go to Linux and check if my instance is ready. Linux instance, let me refresh. Rachel, do you have any questions? Rachel, any questions? Okay. My Linux web server is ready now. Let me go to my Linux web server, copy this IP, and for Linux, I would be using PuTTY. So in case you're not aware about PuTTY, PuTTY is a way to take sessions of Linux machines. Here I'm saying I want to connect with this instance. IP is this, and you have to provide a SSH connection file. Go to credentials. In case you are not aware about from where to download PuTTY, it is very easy. You just go to internet and download this PuTTY and click on private key. And you have to this one, demo linux.ppk, and click on open. Once you click on open, I want to change the color also. Go to colors. In a default background, I want to modify the color as a maroon color, and I want to increase the font also. Let me go to appearance. I'm changing the font size. By default, it is giving you 10. I'm going to change it to 16 or 18 and OK. And click on open. So once you click on open, a shell will be opened like this, where you can write a commands. Like I'm saying for the Windows, there was a default user as an administrator. But in Linux, it will be EC2 user. Once you click on EC2 user and press enter, it will say authentication successful, and it starts showing you Amazon Linux 2023. Now I want to install couple of softwares, not couple of softwares. I just want to install web server. So for the web server, I have the command ready. Let me run that command. First command would be, you have to enter the sudo user. Sudo user means that I want to convert to super user, sudo su. After that, I want to install httpd. You might ask me, what is httpd-y? So in that case, if you're writing this yum is a package and you are doing the installation here. And which package you want to install? httpd you want to install. And why I'm giving -y? -y I'm giving because if you're not giving -y, it will start asking you yes or no in every installation. And that is what I don't want. That's why I'm giving -y upfront here. So moment I type this command and press enter, it will start installing httpd, which is Apache web server. It has started, right? So it is showing you it has started, download package, install packages, download packages, and installation is done. Now, after installation, you have to start this service. Because as of now, if you see the status of this service using this command httpd status, it will show you that service is inactive. Service is inactive. Service is inactive, but I want to start it. How you will start it? You will use one command, service httpd start. Press enter. It will be started. Once your service is started, you will go to your instance. You will click on your instance. This is your IP, right? Copy this IP and go to internet and hit this IP. Wow. It says it works. That means your Linux machine is able to host your website now. It works means that it is working fine. Did you get that, guys?
Yes. Can't we use easy to connect instead of this putty?
Can't you?
Easy to connect is there an option, right? When we go to instances connect.
This one you are saying, right?
Yeah.
You can come to instances and you can
Yeah.
come to there. This one
And
you are
then
saying,
connect.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you also can do. Both options are there. Easy to instant connect, you can also do. Session manager also you can do. SSH client you can also do. Serial console also you do. Multiple ways to work.
Yeah.
RDP
Here,
we can, here is
error I
option
would
for,
Please go one by one.
go ahead.
the thing here you can see this account is not authorized to use EC2 serial console, right? This is the error I frequently get when I
Not
launch some.
authorized to get, right?
Yeah.
This
I
one,
want to
right?
connect
This
to
is
it.
not the
That's-
error. Actually, what you have to do is when you have to connect with this EC2 serial console, certain permissions you have to add. You have to add one role. You have to add one role.
Okay.
Let me do one thing. Let me take one more scenario that is going to be an awesome scenario in front of you that I'm going to discuss now. This is Windows instance, right? This is Windows instance. And if I click on this, I have security rules here. If I go to this security, I have security group, right? On that security group, I have these rules. But what if I want to connect with that instance without this 3389? Without this RDP? What I'll do in that cases?
Without RDP, we're gonna use this. The same EC2 connect will be used.
Yes, right. That we can use.
Okay, so I wanted
once you-
to excuse me.
Yeah,
So
please,
I think I wanted to help, I don't know, the guy that was asking about security groups and then the difference between the stateful and the state-led. So in my opinion, I think that when it comes to security group, stateful means like, let's say, any changes that are made to the inbound rule will automatically be reflected in the outbound rule. Let's say, for example, if you allow inbound ports to, let's say, port 80, which is HTTP, then automatically the outbound ports will also be allowed. But then when it comes to stateless, on the other hand, NACL would be a stateless. Let's say the changes that will be made in the inbound rule will not reflect the outbound rule. So you then need to add, let's say, a separate rule. For example, let's say if you add an inbound rule to port 80 on HTTP, then you'd have to explicitly, like, add the outbound rule. So yeah, that is what I can help with.
Okay. Cool. Okay, let me take one more scenario here. Let me go to Windows 1 and click on Connect. There's the option, right? Session Manager. With that session manager also, you can connect with your instance without any RDP port. So without any RDP port, you can connect to session manager. So what are the steps will be involved? And just to tell you, everyone who is going to join this session, there will be a lot of assignments I'm going to give you. These assignments will be uploaded on the GitHub link also. You can see that once you are going to enroll for this. Let me show one scenario to you. You would really enjoy this. Here it is, Session Manager plugin. This one I was talking about. So without RDP, I want to connect with my machine. For that, you have to follow these 4 steps. And 4 steps I am going to follow. First of all, I am going to create a role. In case you don't know what role is, I will try to take a separate session on the IAM. I will do a separate session. But for this moment of time, you can say, I am going to create a one role with these permissions. Just understand this part. Role I will discuss separately with you. Is it fine with everyone?
Yes.
Okay. I'm
But
going to
here
create
you
a
are the
role.
root user, right? So why do we need these permissions?
No. When this on this
Yes,
instance, on this instance, you are not able to see this connect button, right? Even though
Yes.
you are root user, you are not able to see this connect. You will only be able to see this connect button once you have the these permissions assigned.
access.
Yeah. So guys, just to tell you, in case you are not familiar with this thing, I have taken a remote of one of the instance, right? This was my instance. If I click on this is my Windows server, right? If I click on connect, you can connect using session manager also. But session manager, in session manager window, you are not able to see connect button, right? How can I see that button? So my basic goal is I want to create one instance and I want to connect it without RDP. And that is what we are doing in companies. You don't open the RDP client for everyone. It's against the security. So what I'm going to do is that cases, first of all, I'm doing it quickly. Don't worry, I will repeat this part again once you're going to enroll. This is just for demonstration. I'm doing it. I'm going to IAM. And under the IAM, I'm going to create one role. Under the IAM, it's the Identity and Access Management Service. I'm going to click on roles. So once I'm going to the roles, click on create role. And here I'm choosing AWS service. Here I will be choosing EC2 because I want to create this role for EC2. In case you are not familiar with how I am creating this, you would get it in a couple of sessions. But as of now, just follow the same steps, click next. And here I want to add 3 policies. 3 policies is, one is Amazon EC2 role for SSM. This one is first, add. Second is Amazon SSM manage instance 4, and third one would be Amazon SSM full access. Press enter. These three policies I have added. Click on next. You can see 3 policies are added, and here I'm giving a role name EC2 without RDP demo. EC2 without RDP demo, and I'm going to create a role. Cool. My role is created successfully. Now I am going to work with EC2. I'm going to create one EC2, or you can attach this role to your existing instance also. That also you can do it. Go to dashboard. Let me create a new instance. Launch instance. Here I'm giving web server without RDP port. Without RDP port. All right. Here I'm choosing Windows, or here I'm choosing, let's suppose 2 GB or 4 GB, whatever you want to take it. Create a new key pair. I already have that key pair, right? Which one I have used for Windows? This one, window test key, network setting. I'm going to use, this time I'm allowing RDP traffic, but I will remove it later. But one thing for everyone, one thing you have to do is scroll down, click on advanced details, and here you need to choose your role. In IAM instance profile, you need to choose the same role you have created, EC2 without RDP demo. Okay, that's it. Launch this instance. And similarly, we have to wait for 2-3 minutes here. If this is what you're not getting, don't worry, I will repeat this part. The purpose was to show you how to create a EC2 instance in Windows and Linux that you have already seen, right? AMI, we will skip that because in the place of AMI, what we are doing is now session manager part. So we will not have more time. Probably we can wrap up this session in 10 more minutes. Click on instances, refresh. As of now, this is coming, right? Without RDP, it is showing you initializing. Probably in 1 minute, this instance will be there. And I will show you how to connect with it. And before connecting, you have to make sure one thing, on your machine, you have to install AWS CLI. Also, you have to install Session Manager plugin. Session Manager plugin for Windows. In case you are using Linux, you have to install for a Session Manager plugin for Linux. This software, Session Manager plugin, you will find it very easily. Just go to Google and say Session Manager plugin install for Windows. Go to website of AWS, this website. You will find a link here. You just need to download and install. This is for Windows. Copy this plugin link and install. After installation, you need to run this step. I will tell you how. Go to your instances first. Where is my instance? Click on instances. Let me close out the window which are not needed. Let me refresh. This is live, right? This web server is there. Let me click on this. Now let me click on connect. So moment you click on connect, you will see this. This time you will see this button, right? Connect. So click on disconnect. So once you click on disconnect, a session will be open for you. Session is going to open for you. This is your session, right? This is opened. Now next step would be, you have already done session manager plugin. What you have to do is copy this AWS SSM session manager command is, and go to your CMD, click and paste this command. But before pasting the command, you have to change something in this command and understand what this command is doing. This command is doing AWS SSM start session. SSM means system manager. System manager start session -- target. Target means which instance. This is a target. Copy this ID. Go to same window, this one, and replace this. Paste. -- document name AWS start port forwarding session, which is working on local port number 6060 and actual port number is 3389. Copy this command. Go to your CMD, right? Paste it here and press enter. Once you press enter, it says session starting, right? Session starting. Cool. Open for connections. Now what you can do is go to your RDP and you can type here localhost, and what is the port you want to connect? 6060. 6060. Connect. You are connected, but you don't have the password, right? For password, I'm going back and I'm going to retrieve a password. Go to actions, security, and get Windows password. Same key I have to use, Windows test key, and copy this password, decrypt, copy, and go to machine, where it is, this one, and enter your password. Click on OK. Yes. See, now you are connected on localhost. Even though now you go to your instances and remove the RDP, that connection will be live. Go to security, click on the security group, click on edit inbound route, and I'm removing this save rules. Still you are connected with this instance, right guys? Wow, right?
Yes.
So there are multiple things will be available according to your use case, or time to time we will explore a lot of things. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm good for today. Any kind of questions you have.
Can you please repeat what is the use of the sessions manager?
Session manager is useful when you don't want to use RDP port. This RDP rules, no security group is there, right? But still you can connect with RDP instance without any security. So this session manager comes into the picture when security comes into the picture. So you are increasing the security of your components or EC2.
This we can do for Linux machines also.
Yeah, that process will be little different, but you can do the same.
So if you are giving no inbound rules, then the applications means nobody from the outside cannot connect to any application if it is running in the instance.
Correct, right. That way you are adding more security, right? Nobody can come to your system.
Okay, so so this is in case of a scenario when your when your this one instance is in private IP, then also you can connect through this sessions manager.
Yes, right.
So If you log out from the RDP right now, so are you gonna connect it again?
Yes, yes. This
So, but
not
you remove the rules, right?
yeah,
No, no.
even that is going to work. Let me do it again. RDP on session 6060. What was the password? I think already there. I have connected. You are again connected. That RDP is not a matter for you. RDP you add, not add. That is not dependent.
Got it.
Anyone more questions? Please let
But
me know
we
if you
need
have any questions.
hello. But we need to first port forwarding. It is needed, no?
Yeah, port forwarding is the way only. Internally, what AWS is doing, if you understand this layman terms, they are doing a state forwarding, port forwarding. They are doing nothing.
Yeah.
You are targeting a request on 600. They are hitting on 3389. So internally, if you go with that, they are just changing the way to connect. It is comes under the security, but it is how they are doing is just they are doing a port forwarding only. But for the outer world, 3389 is blocked and they don't know their.
So, Dish, I have a very basic question. Uh, all these things, you just given a demo on the Windows machine. So I am having a Mac. So is it any separate plugin or something, or it can be done on Mac also?
To be honest, I don't work on the Mac OS. What you can do is you can create a VM in AWS and then work accordingly. I'm a good expert in AWS, Windows and Linux.
Okay.
So most of the sessions I will be taking on Linux and Windows.
Okay.
Can you explain like how we gonna do the course thing?
Course thing, there are two courses basically here. One is AWS Solution Architect. We are going to target. In AWS Solution Architect, we have most of the stuff related to AWS, like identity and access management, Amazon EC2, and whatever I have mentioned here that we will do a practical, like the way we have done so far. VPC, S3, how to create peering connections, how to create VPC, how to create NAT gateways, how to create NACL, S3, how to take backups, how to create replication rules, how to host static web application. In API gateway, we have this stuff like creating a gateway, add a trigger to Lambda function, how to deploy, how to create multiple endpoints, database services, how to create databases in RDS, how to create DynamoDB tables, how to take backups, how to create RAID replica instances. Most of the things of this course, 80 to 85% would be practical knowledge. And if you start comparing, the content is very high level. Even Elastic Cache for Redis, Memcache, that will be covered in the database. Then coming back to Route 53, this is very easy. Decoupling applications like SQS, SNS, which is Kinesis, very popular in the market, right? That also will see practical. Glue examples, Elastic Beanstalk, AWS Lambda, how to run Lambda as invoke functions, how to configure an application load balancer, ALB, package libraries, invoking Lambda function on a schedule, running trusted component Lambda using AWS Signer, cloud formation template, IAC, how to run your templates, how to create, how to update, how to create nested stacks, stack failure options, then monitoring. And after monitoring, we'll explore security part like KMS, parameter stores, secret managers, web application firewall, guard duty inspector. These are basically security tool in AWS. Cloud migration, I will take a couple of examples. Then DevOps. When we start with DevOps, these things comes into the picture. There's a separate part for DevOps we are going to do. For DevOps, we are going to target GitHub. We are going to target working with Jenkins. We are going to working with Terraform or Docker deep dive, Kubernetes deep dive. That all things we will do a practical. So there are two flavors. One is AWS Solution Architect. This is one course. Another is AWS Solution Architect plus DevOps. This one. Does it answer your question? Who asked this question? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yes.
Right?
What are the hours like? Like 6:30
Hours wise, to be honest, when I work with IntelliPart and Simplilearn, I do provide 36 hours. But when I take my personal batches, I do provide 50 hours.
Okay.
Roughly,
It's
that will
6:30
take.
p.m. to
Sorry.
How many days it gonna do?
It will be a weekend batch. It would be every weekend we will be having 4 hours. So probably you can say it is going to take around 2 months or more than that.
Okay.
Do we
Like
need
6:30 to 8:30.
do we need prior knowledge of these? Not a bit, but whatever I'm telling you, I will be taking a lot of things in one session. Like we can take the example of today's session, like it is for 1.5 hours. But you have to work hard. What if you really want to learn it, you have to do a practice on your behalf also. I will do the things very quickly because I have the setup, I have the knowledge, everything in my hands, right? I can do quickly. But when it's come to you, sometimes installation of software or sometimes take very higher time. So no prior knowledge, just a dedication, I think will going to work. Instead of dedication, I will say discipline is going to work for you. If you are ready to provide for 2-3 hours on a daily basis for next 2 months, you will be at good place in AWS.
So what will be the cost for this?
Course, you can talk to Amit. There will be a number. You can talk to Amit. Let me give his number. Nine 540-685-62-806. He's our account manager. So you can have a word with him. You can talk to this number probably, and every assignment will be shared on the GitHub and you can work accordingly. So probably it is going to take 40-45 hours time, but this is the things we are going to cover. 40 hours of training, 12 hours of project and exercise will be there. I can help you in AWS certification questions, preparing 101 assignment. If you want 1 or 2 sessions, I can arrange a call, 1 or 2 dedicated section only for you, not more than 2. Resume preparation I can do for you. Resume help if you want to add some projects and all. Mock interviews and job support only. This is not job guarantee. It's just a support that you are going for jobs interviews. You have some of the question you want to ask me separately. That is possible. So we'll be creating a WhatsApp group here. Everything will be shared on the WhatsApp, like recordings and everything. Every session will be recorded and will be shared to you after the session.
So instead of sharing detail on WhatsApp, can you also share on the email?
Yeah, email is also fine. So I'm just telling you easy way, whichever works for you, that's fine. We can share the information over the Gmail also, or any email you say. That's
And
fine.
you are going to start over when you
We are already started. This was the first session, and now this will be a continued batch from the tomorrow. Who want to enroll, they can enroll, and they will be getting a link of joining the session for tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going with the same EC2 part, load balancer, and other things. We are AMI and load balancer. We are going to start from tomorrow.
okay.
What is the time of your class?
Timing as of now would be 6:30 p.m. to 8 or 8:30 for few days. When I say few days, I'm talking about 2-3 weeks. This would be timing 6:30 to 8:30. But after a few days, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we can think. We can think for that timing also, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30. So it's in our hand. So people who wants to enroll, you can consider these two times. So whatever suits most of the people, we will take that time. I'm available for both the timings. Yeah,
Is there
please.
any batch? Is there any batch in the morning?
Morning in weekdays, you are saying?
IST.
IST morning, right?
Yeah.
No, as of now.
What is this time? Like IST or
Yeah, this is IST. Everything I am talking in IST. This is IST. And thanks for recalling this.
So one general question I'm gonna ask you. So is ChatGPT gonna impact on the cloud part also?
Sorry, what is your question?
So nowadays ChatGPT getting very famous, right? Is this gonna impact the cloud computing also?
No, as of now, because people say coding that ChatGPT is able to code also. But tell me a scenario where you are working on the production application. You have the P1 scenario or P2 scenario. Can GPT can resolve it?
No.
No, right? Absolutely no. That's a predefined knowledge they have entered into the AI model, right? But
Yes.
that cannot beat cloud computing. That computing applications, deployments, CI/CD, all things will be combination of manual plus automation. There cannot be 100% automation in the service industry, in the software development, right?
Okay.
And if that is a future, we will learn that way also. Be flexible to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also doing a lot of research on ChatGPT. So if that is the future, we will learn that being a IT guy, we should not be worried about the technologies, to be honest, nowadays. Whatever comes our way, we will learn it. Gone are the days when we were learning about one technology and that was running for 10 years. And I was learning a lot of good things, good packages, right? Now, every one day you have to learn. If you are not learning, you will be behind.
Got you.
So try to learn. Don't, as of now, you are learning AWS, might be in future, like I'm AWS certified, I'm GCP certified, I'm Azure certified, Terraform certified. I don't know what is coming next to me, right? I'm happy and I'm enjoying that path. Just enjoy this path. Daily, I'm giving you 2 hours of learning, whether it is Terraform, whether it is Kubernetes, whether it is Docker. That's it. 2 hours are okay for that. So this
what
is
is
investment
Terraform?
we are doing. Yeah, sorry.
What is Terraform?
Yeah, I'm Terraform expert also. I'm handling one of the team in my current project on Terraform. Terraform, I will also cover if you are really want to learn, because I mentioned Terraform also. Terraform, Chef, Ansible. I have very beautiful, I would say, real-time examples on Terraform also. I will share with you.
Is this part of DevOps or Any other?
Yes, without Terraform, you cannot proceed now. Even you have to learn CloudFormation or Terraform. Either of one will be work for you. It's a combination. If you really want to learn something, I would advise you to go for DevOps, because DevOps has a lot of things which are not available in AWS. So combination of that is going to work very well. In that combination, you will learn Chef, Ansible, GitHub, Docker, Kubernetes, very good things, right? And you integrate with the Jenkins, right? When you go for the continuous integration, you integrate Jenkins with Chef, you integrate Jenkins with CloudFormation template, you integrate Jenkins with the Terraform template. That is where you learn a lot of extra things.
And also a general question, like we also have the other cloud platforms, right? So is this same as the AWS? Like
So
whatever the
if you're
concept?
doing AWS, you're doing 56. In fact, I would say 60% of other clouds also.
Okay.
Technology will remain same, right? Computer is computer, right? Nobody can change whether it is coming from the AWS or GCP or any other cloud. Computer will remain same, right? DLLs will be DLL, EXE will be EXE, commands will be command, code will be code, right? So they are just creating a wrapper over it. That's it. They're giving naming convention and selling it to the market. That's it. Is Gaurav, Manoj, Javis, any more questions you have? I have shared the number. Javis, you were asking for details, right? Did you note down the number? Javis?
Yes, I
Okay. Any more questions, guys, or we are good for today? Let's connect tomorrow. If you want to join it, you can talk on this number 95406-62808 plus 91 if you're dialing from US or any other country. Any other question I can help you? In case you still want to talk to me, you can call Amit. Amit will redirect a call to me. You can talk to me for any guidance or anything. I'm here, you can call me. Even though you can take on my number from Amit, he will share my number and then you can talk to me. With that, I'm closing this session. Thanks a lot, guys, for this time. Let's connect tomorrow, same time, 6:30 p.m. IST.
okay, thanks.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.